The community is shaken after Honolulu police say a man fatally stabbed his wife and 3 children before killing himself. Flowers and lei have been left at the home in a quiet Manoa neighborhood.
Investigators are trying to piece together the motive in the horrific crime. Officers made the discovery a little after 9 Sunday morning. It was the second time police responded to the Wa'aloa Place home. Meanwhile, we're learning new details about the family. Joining us now is Daryl Huff with the latest. What can you tell us, Daryl?
Well, first of all, I want to say that we are protecting as a courtesy to the family, we are not naming them as of yet. I know that the names are all out there. Many people are aware of who they are, but we are doing them a courtesy, waiting for some kind of official confirmation. We know that the families are aware because the mother of the killer called his brother and sent him to the house and said that your brother is dead. Then the children and their families, the school Ohanas have been informed. We're told that the oldest daughter, who was 17 years old, a senior at Iolani School, is being remembered there today with counseling going on for all the kids and so on. And then the other 2 children were 12 and 10, and they went to Manoa School, which is really not far from the location of this house. Of course, DOE officials are responding with counseling and so on for the kids there. Very traumatic, traumatic event and just terrible. I've been looking quite a bit into the killer, who was a local chiropractor originally from Kauai. Some indication that he may have had some financial issues. I don't want to go into the details yet because I'm still working that. We have a number of reporters working on this story today. Mahealani Richardson, Lynn Kawano, are out working this story to try and get all the angles because this is really the worst murder case that we've had since Byron Uisugi killed 7 coworkers almost 30 years ago.
Right, and Chief Logan yesterday kind of got into that about how these types of cases are rare here in Hawaii. Let's play some of that sound that we have yesterday.
Is one of these things that doesn't normally happen in Hawaii. As you mentioned, it was in 1999. It's the last time in the Xerox shooting where 7 people were killed. And so that is traumatic. I know as a young officer at that period of time. And then today being in this, it's talking to the officers who were there at the scene initially, trying to find out what they were feeling, what they were going through at that point in time. And so vicariously, I absorbed some of that. And so I feel for those officers and what they will see.
Definitely a horrific situation. All of this unfolding after we've learned that a neighbor called police in the early morning hours following an argument that was reported. But there is still so much to uncover in all of this. But what we know again so far is the father killed his wife and 3 children before killing himself. And as Daryl, you mentioned, we have reporters trying to find out as much information as we can on this.
And just to add a couple more details, we believe the police have said it was a stabbing. A knife was used. It was recovered at the scene. The process of identifying, and I mentioned it's taking a while. It's been over 24 hours. It's unusual for us to have to withhold the names this long, but apparently the wife's family is either traveling or perhaps in another country, perhaps in Japan. She has a Japanese first name, and so it could be that's what's taking so long.
And we also heard from the CEO of the Domestic Violence Action Center, who you heard neighbors describing that this family lived upstairs in this home. They were very festive around the holidays.
The other thing that we have learned, we look back in the history, there's no reports of domestic violence. The police said they haven't responded to anything there. There's no TROs between the members of the family. Like I said, the only indication of any problems that we've heard of at all that could see potential financial issues for the husband, but that certainly doesn't justify what he did.
Right, absolutely. And this is what DVAC had to say about maybe certain signs that you can be aware of, but you can never predict something like this will happen.
Well, this is a quiet neighborhood, right? In Hawaii, often that means you respect the privacy of your neighbors. It's hard to know when to cross that line.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
All too often, we minimize the domestic violence, we minimize the abuse that may be happening in a family. So as neighbors, we might hear shouting or arguing, and sometimes we just don't do anything about it because it's a private matter. But oftentimes we can reach out on some level to the children or the family members to perhaps get them information that they might need if they or a loved one is going through abuse or domestic violence. The thing I would say is, don't minimize, take it seriously. If you're not sure, just reach out.
Don't minimize and take it seriously. That is the message there. We have some information for the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The number there, 1-800-799-SAFE. You can also text START to 88788. And the website, of course, thehotline.org. Some valuable resources right there for you.
Yeah, we mentioned, the community heartbroken about this tragedy. We also know that the killer has connections to Kauai, a very small knit community there, also shaken by this news and kind of trying to comprehend why. But yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to your coverage, Daryl.
Well, I think that one other point to make is that the report of this crime came originally from a tenant who was apparently so terrified that she just hunkered down until the police finally showed up. You can't imagine how horrifying and long this must have taken. It's just terrible to think about.
Our Daryl Huff joining us here in the Hawaii News Now Digital Center. Daryl, we thank you so much for your reporting. We will have more on this story coming up in later editions of Hawaii News Now. For now, let's go ahead and look at some other news happening around the state. New today, Honolulu police are investigating a stabbing that took place yesterday morning in Kalihi. It happened just after 10 a.m. when HPD said a 51-year-old man stabbed another man. He was arrested minutes later on Mokawea Street. He now faces an attempted murder charge. No word on the condition of the 52-year-old victim. And we've also learned a visitor trying to figure out how to get back to his hotel was carjacked at gunpoint in Kalihi. Now, this incident happened Saturday night around 9:30. The 57-year-old man reportedly had pulled over near Ho'one'e Place and Sand Island Access Road to look at directions on his phone. That's when the suspect allegedly opened the victim's door, shoved a gun in his face, and threatened to kill him. The 21-year-old suspect was later seen allegedly driving the stolen car in Palolo. He was arrested on multiple charges, including robbery and gun crimes.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are staking their claims to issues they think will help them win the presidential election in November. Skylar Henry has the details from Washington.
President Biden took aim at former President Trump's health care policies during a campaign stop in the battleground state of New Hampshire.
Republicans will cut Social Security and Medicare to give us more tax cuts for the wealthy. Even this morning, Donald Trump said cuts to Social Security and Medicare are on the table again.
Despite the stepped-up attacks on Trump, Monday morning, Biden told city leaders from across the U.S. that he's making progress on uniting the country.
I promise to be president for all Americans, whether they voted for me or not. And we're making that real progress in red communities and blue communities. In fact, there are more investments going to red communities than blue communities.
But in a recent CBS News poll, 61% of Americans surveyed described the state of the country as divided. Trump continues to take aim at Biden's border policies at both his rallies and on social media.
Biden has implemented a formal policy that illegal aliens who intrude into the United States are granted immunity from deportation.
During a campaign stop in Georgia this weekend, Trump met with the family of Laken Riley, the suspect in the nursing student's murder across the border illegally.
Laken Riley would be alive today if Joe Biden had not willfully and maliciously eviscerated the borders of the United States.
Trump also criticized Biden for apologizing for calling the suspect an illegal rather than undocumented during the State of the Union address. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Attorneys for former President Donald Trump asked a judge to delay the start of his criminal hush money trial until after the Supreme Court decides if he has presidential immunity. The trial is scheduled to begin on March 25th in New York. The Supreme Court is set to hear arguments in the immunity case a month later on April 25th, but a ruling from the High Court may not come until late June or early July. The New York case stems from alleged hush money payments made by former Trump attorney Michael Cohen to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The payments were made before the 2016 election to stop Daniels from going public about an alleged affair with Trump a decade earlier. Trump is facing 34 counts of falsifying business records for reimbursements made to Cohen, allegedly for those payments. He has pleaded not guilty and denies the affair. In international news, the situation in Haiti is becoming increasingly dire after a massive prison break earlier this month. Vladimir Duthiers has reported extensively from the country and has the latest.
Desperation in Haiti, where UN officials say around 15,000 people have been displaced in roughly the last week amid the latest spike in gang violence. Missing from action, Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who has been staying in Puerto Rico since last Tuesday.
And finally, we signed.
Following his return from a diplomatic trip to Kenya to lobby for security backing. Some in Haiti's capital of Port-au-Prince, including gang leaders, have called for his ouster. In a press conference last week, feared gang boss Jimmy Cherizier said his forces would fight Henry until the last drop of blood. And on Sunday, the U.S. Southern Command confirmed the military had conducted an operation to fortify the American embassy in Port-au-Prince and evacuate non-essential personnel.
The U.S. Embassy is actually located in a crossroads of about 3 powerful gangs.
Jacqueline Charles is the Caribbean correspondent for the Miami Herald. She said Haiti is near collapse.
Port-au-Prince itself is basically landlocked by gangs that control all of the major roads out of the capital. There are no international flights. There are no domestic flights to get to the north, which, remains relatively calm.
Vladimir Duthiers, CBS News.
Starting today, the Honolulu City Council will begin its arduous budget process. They have about $3.6 billion in operating costs to work with and $919 million for the capital improvement programs. A meeting today that started at 9 a.m. will focus on heart, fire, police, and EMS, along with arts, climate, and sustainability. You can watch live on the City Council's website or Olelo Channel 54. Meanwhile, the Honolulu Salary Commission is considering raises for some city officials. Now, it doesn't include the mayor or council chair Tommy Waters, but others could be getting a pay hike. Eddie Dowd has more.
These proposed raises come just 7 months after a controversial 64% pay raise for the Honolulu City Council. The latest ones being considered are just a fraction of that and include the police and fire chief, but some Honolulu City Council members could still get another pay hike.
The Honolulu Salary Commission is tasked with updating the salaries of city officials to match with current economic times. If approved, the current proposal would give a 3.6% raise to dozens of employees. They include Honolulu Police Chief Joe Logan, whose salary would go from nearly $232,000 to nearly $240,000. Honolulu Fire Chief Sheldon Howe's salary would rise to just over $232,000, up from $224,000. Prosecuting attorney Steve Alm from nearly $199,000 to just over $206,000. And the salary for the Royal Hawaiian Band director would go from nearly $178,000 to just over $184,000. According to the Salary Commission, the proposed raises are based in part from a survey conducted in February to see what the salaries need to be in order to be adequate and competitive nationally for the skills and duties these officials are asked to perform. Although the Salary Commission acts independently, a spokesperson for the mayor's office says Mayor Blangiardi did not ask the Salary Commission to consider raises for himself, the managing director, or his senior cabinet officials this year, citing the raise they received in 2023. Colin Moore is a political analyst.
So the real increase before was the 64% for the council, but most of the civil servants didn't get anything that even was close to that. A raise of this percentage probably isn't going to raise too many eyebrows. This is in line with what a lot of employees have received.
Councilperson Augie Tobo was one of 3 Honolulu City Council members to turn down the 64% pay raise last July. The most recent proposed raise would increase the pay of other City Council members from just over $113,000 to nearly $117,000. Augie says he still doesn't want the money and instead wants to see raises start from the bottom up.
People that work in the parks, people that do maintenance, on our roads, the rubbish man, EMS, ocean safety. These are guys that's been there, they're doing it every single day. How about giving them a raise? And I just think it's bad optics.
The public can testify at a public hearing on March 19th at 1 p.m. at Honolulu Hale. You can see the full list of the proposed raises on our website. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Well, there was lots of fun, food, and festivities taking place in Waikiki over this past weekend, all to celebrate the 28th annual Honolulu Festival. There were events all weekend long at the Hawaii Convention Center, Waikiki Beach Walk, and Ala Moana. On Saturday, hundreds of foodies tried out a new event this year, the Japan Food Festival. It featured sashimi tasting and musubi making workshops.
A bunch of our local vendors are here, and then also Japanese vendors are here from overseas. They're just showcasing what they have, sharing their culture. It's really cool.
I had a scallop that was this thick, and you can't really get that free anywhere else, so I just had to get it. It doesn't matter.
Other highlights of the festival included the grand parade through the heart of Waikiki and the famous Nagaoka fireworks show that lit up the skies just off of Waikiki Beach.
And here's a live look outside with our tower cam looking over downtown Honolulu toward Diamond Head. Cloudy today and still breezy, but those lighter winds are due tomorrow. We're going to have a check on your full forecast with Guy Hoggy after this quick break.
How's it on this Monday? You know, we've got this big cloudy disturbance sitting over the state. It'll be here probably through the better part of the day, and then slowly it's going to push away. We're expecting more sunshine later in the week, probably starting tomorrow. And we got some breezy winds today. And there's also a few scattered showers expected with this spotty disturbance. Even going to hit some leeward sides, but rainfall total should be on the light side. Not everybody's going to get in on the rain. But we are expecting these trade winds to be buffeting much of the state today at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So it's going to be a windy day today, but the winds will be slowing down later in the week. In fact, starting tomorrow, the winds will be significantly slower. But it's going to be cloudy. It's going to be breezy today. We'll have some passing showers from time to time. So don't expect a lot of sunshine. And because of that, and because of the breezy winds, it's going to be a little on the cool side. Now, the surf's going to start picking up this afternoon on a new pulse, but an even bigger swell is due in maybe by Thursday into Friday. That swell, Thursday, Friday, could hit warning levels, so heads up on that. South Shore is going to have a nice little boost, decent conditions, and then it's still going to be messy on the East Shore where things are going to start to slow down. So a little cloudy today. There will be a few scattered showers. Again, not a lot of rain, but it will be windy, 15 to 25. Now, starting tomorrow, though, the winds back off and they'll remain light going into the weekend. We'll still have a few lingering showers probably through Thursday. Not a lot of rain, but a few lingering showers, mainly for windward sides, and then it's going to dry up as we head into the weekend.
Well, Hawaii singers are once again making a name for themselves in the national spotlight, again on NBC's The Voice. Our Billy V got the chance to catch up with Maui local Kamale Kava'a after he enjoyed a bit of that national spotlight.
I've been interested in music, I guess, my whole life. I feel like I was born into it, in a sense. I was surrounded by music through my parents, through my mom, through my uncles and aunties from such a young age.
As a teenager, Kamale would be part of a quartet that would be comprised of Kamale and his brother Kamaehu, plus the Juan brothers, Kalanikini and Kahikina. They would become Nahoku Hano Award winners.
We were able to do some pretty cool stuff. We were nominated for a Grammy. We won a few Nahokus. We released 2 albums as a group. And that time was very special. We wrote a bunch of songs. We were able to inspire a lot of people.
What made you want to apply for The Voice?
My wife signed me up, actually, without me knowing. And right before the interview, or right before the audition happened, she gave me a little heads up. She said, "Hey, I signed you up for this. You have to do it." So I did it, and it got me here, you know? So I credit my wife for it, and I'm in debt to her, for sure. I just remember feeling super nervous, like anyone else, you know, feeling very, very nervous. But I remember the moment that those doors opened and I walked up and stepped on the stage, I felt like I was at home. So my eyes were actually closed when the chair turned around. But there's a big noise, right, when they hit the button. And I remember him turning around immediately and me making that decision in my head not to let that distract me. You know, and I kind of just put it on the side so that I could continue to focus on doing the song justice, you know, and doing everything that I practiced. But I remember just putting it on the side and not thinking about it. And at the end of the presentation, being able to kind of take it in, it was heavy. It was heavy. It's like all the emotions came, you know, right after the performance, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It's still like feels so surreal to me talking about it, and it doesn't really feel like it really happened, you know. But just blessed, you know, super blessed. The strategy from here is to continue to do me, you know, continue to represent our people the best that I can, and not worry too much about the competition. Focus on, keep my eyes in my own va'a, you know, and focus on what I need to do, and continue to do what I can with the tools and all the things that I'm going to learn throughout this process.
Now, The Voice airs Monday and Tuesday nights on KHNL, as well as the Peacock streaming platform the next day.
The Barbenheimer blockbuster phenomenon that started over the summer came to a conclusion at last night's Academy Awards. Oppenheimer took home 7 trophies, while Barbie, or more precisely Ryan Gosling's Ken, gave a performance for the ages. Danya Backus reports from Los Angeles.
Christopher Nolan's blockbuster Oppenheimer, about the making of the atomic bomb, scored big at the Oscars, winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director.
I have so many people to thank.
Cillian Murphy, who starred as the titular scientist, nabbed his first Oscar.
For better or for worse, we're all living in Oppenheimer's world, so I would really like to dedicate this to the peacemakers everywhere.
As did his on-screen nemesis, Robert Downey Jr.
I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy.
Downey's competition in the Best Supporting Actor category included Barbie's Ryan Gosling, who delivered a show-stopping performance of his hit song, I'm Just Ken. Wearing a pink suit and joined by the movie's other Kens, along with Slash on guitar, Gosling got Barbie director Greta Gerwig and stars Margot Robbie and America Ferrera in on the fun.
Ryan Gosling even had the people at the bar stop. The people who were getting their drinks stopped, watched the monitors. It was like time stood still.
Emma Stone also got in on the action, which may have led to a wardrobe malfunction.
My dress is broken.
I think it happened during I'm Just Ken.
Stone picked up her second Best Actress Oscar for her performance in Poor Things, edging out Killers of the Flower Moon's Lily Gladstone.
I am so grateful to all you beautiful people out here.
Devine Joy Randolph won for her supporting role as a grieving mother in The Holdovers. And in a bit of levity, actor John Cena took to the stage nearly naked to present the award for the Best Costume Design. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
So much fun there. Did you watch any of that live at
No,
all?
I didn't watch it live, but I'm going to definitely go back and watch some of the clips.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to This Is Now. We appreciate you for tuning in on this Monday afternoon, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Aloha.